Hello, everyone. You're working in the upstairs bedroom here again, and today we're getting close to being done with this room, everyone. We got a couple of big things left here yet. One, trim work. That's what this video is going to be about, of course. You folks can probably figure that out from the title. And then we also have to do the finish electrical yet as well. So you'll put all the outlets in and all that fun stuff. Finish electrical shouldn't take too long. With the trim here, though, that might take well. For those who watched the last video here, we went through and we redid all the doors here. Literally just took them out, took the frames apart, put the frames back together, put the doors back in. So, I mean, look at this, everyone. This door, every time I go to open this door now, I'm like, oh, this you can just open so nice now, right? Closes fine. Same thing with the main door here as well. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check that out. I think that was definitely the right call. In fact, you can see this on here. I'm like, you know, like this is where the original door frame used to be, right? I'm like, yeah, it was quite crooked before. Same thing with the other door as well. Anyway, for the trim oven, I figure we're going to start on the window here. And when it comes to trim, everyone, precision is key. So we're going to be throwing away the pencils and stuff like that. We're going to be taking a knife to scribe lines. Just make sure everything is as precise as can be. You know, maybe even with the cuts, we might sneak up on the cuts rather than like, yeah, okay, close enough, cut it. No, we'll, you know, if we have to, we'll sneak up on the cuts. So first things first, everyone, we're going to build a box for each one of these windows here. We're not going to try to like put a board here and then work our way around. No, we're going to build the box, everyone, and then put the whole box, we'll get the whole box squared up, of course, and then we'll put the whole box in, and then we'll fasten it down. And then once that's in, I'll probably spray foam around it as well. But yeah, we'll get that done here first, everyone. Once that's done, then we can put the outside beauty trim on as well. And taking some measurements here, everyone. Looks like we're looking at, I'm thinking probably 29¼ is what I think I'm going to go with here on this measurement, everyone. Another tip here when it comes to doing trim, everyone. One ruler. Don't be like, okay, I'm up here measuring this with this ruler. I'm then going to go downstairs to the saw and cut it with it. No. We are going to take this ruler and use this for the entire, well, unless something happens. For the entire project, we're going to use this ruler and mark from this ruler. Never trust going from, even if it's the same, like, even if you have exactly the same one of them, never trust it. Use the same ruler. These rulers aren't necessarily like the most, you know, precision of instruments. You know, if it says it's, you know, what, 3.5, maybe it is, maybe it's not. You know, maybe the ruler's off by 1/16 of an inch. You don't know, but as long as you use the same ruler, everyone, it won't matter. So anyway, like I said, 29¼ We're going to take this down to the miter saw there, and I'm going to cut one board. Make sure that looks right first, and then we'll cut some more. Well, Evan, you folks want to know what like $400 worth of trim looks like? Yeah. Little on the pricey side. And this comes from Menards too, so I don't know if there's any cheaper place to get trim or not. Definitely had to look through it here quite a bit to make sure we had pieces that weren't like too beat up, because yeah, their trim selection, wow, looks like someone like went through it with a chainsaw and threw it around and beat on it with hammers. Like, oh my goodness. Anyway, for the windows oven, we're gonna be using the 1x4s. That is those right there. So grab one of those and let's bring it over to the miter saw here and we'll start cutting. Okay, we're going to have to be somewhat precise with our cuts here, but no wasted material here. Hopefully, if I did the math right, I think I have enough trim here to complete all of this, at least if I added up everything correctly. That was the first thing I did, by the way. So I went around the room, measured everything, and then tried to figure out the best use for the pieces that were available. Unfortunately, with Menards, they didn't like have every size and every type of trim. It's like some they had 8-foots available, some they had 8, 10, 12s, 14s, and 16s. Some they just had 8 and 10, some they just had 8, some they just had, like, what in the world, come on now. So it'd be nice if they would have had like all the sizes available and everything. I could have probably made a lot better use of it, a little cheaper too, but oh well. We're gonna measure this at 29¼ and like I said, when we're measuring that one, I'm actually gonna use a knife. Again, throw your pencils away for this job, and pencils are not for trim work. So, or if you got, you know, if you're do a lot of this, get one of the little scribes that are actually for this, so it'll work a lot better. And you know what I need? Yeah, no pencils, that one. Need our square here as well. All right, yeah, I say square, speed square, that one. I'm a little disappointed. I used to have a really nice speed square. I don't know what I did with that one, so now I just got this cheap one, but hey, seems like it works. Okay, looking at this board, I think I'm going to go for like 1/8 of an inch shorter here. I'm going to try to aim for, you see right on that edge there, I think that'll give us a nice little reveal here on the window. I could back it off to there, but then my board is actually going to be too short. I have one. Again, that's why measure once, cut twice, right? So yeah, now I'm like 1/8 of an inch too short. Well, actually, to be honest, I'm probably actually 1/4 inch too short because this edge is probably back, yeah, it's back in there somewhere. So I'm looking at this edge right here. I think we're going to go with that one. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with here, everyone. Okay, we got two of the short pieces cut here, and I think, we got that matched up about as good as it's going to get. Hard pressed to get that any better. Unless, I guess, if you cut maybe two at the same time, you could maybe do that. Anyway, we're going to cut the long pieces here now. I just got down from upstairs measuring that. We are 53.5 from the top to the bottom of the window, but we need to subtract the thickness of this from that. So I'll measure this here a minute. These are 1x4s, as you see them, but for those who know anything about lumber, a 1x4 is not actually 1x4. This is probably 3/4. I'm assuming they're probably like 3.5. Speaking of the 3.5, by the way, we'll need to cut this down as well because this is just a little bit too wide here for the depth of our window. We'll have to measure that here yet as well. We're going to call that 1 3/8. 1 3/8. So we need to subtract 1 3/8 from our 53.5. And in situations like this where I don't want to screw up, I'll actually do the math on a calculator. So we got 1.375. So we need 52 1/8. 52 1/8 for our long piece. Okay, but now that we got our pieces all cut, we're going to go ahead and assemble it here. Hopefully this fits in the window frame just fine. The first one did. And the story behind the first one. So I've got one done here already, everyone. After I finished cutting the pieces for the first one, the GoPro here died. The battery died anyway. So while I was waiting for the battery to charge, I assembled the first one here. So we're actually going to be assembling the second one. And for assembling, I've got these little corner jigs. They just kind of help hold it in place. I am screwing these two together. You can see up underneath there on that. So yeah, I just got 3 screws under there. So yeah, using I've just got 2 corner jigs. It'd kind of be nice if I had 4, so then I could do all 4 corners, right? But I've just got 2. Just the other one's just sitting on these boards here, just to keep it level. If you notice, some of these boards are about the same height as that right there. So again, just kind of helps hold everything. Basically a set of helping hands there. We are pre-drilling all the holes here before we put the screws in. And I'm using, what length? 1 3/4. 1 3/4 is the length I'm using here at the moment. I figured that should be sufficient for it. I suppose maybe it could go up to like 2. That might be a little bit better, but should work for this oven. Because of course, once we're up here, we'll nail this all to the sides and have it all spray foam behind it here as well, which is what I did on the other side. Just it keeps everything nice and solid. So let's get drilling and screwing. Okay, Kevin, now for the fun part here. Yes, now we get to line this up here in the windowsill. You might notice here before I assemble this one here, this is the one that's already finished, was already up there, that one. And I'm using a trick here I seen from another YouTuber here. For those of you who've ever seen Stud Pack, check them out if you're looking for better how-to videos on maybe how to do this. But this is a trick I seen them do here, and I'm not doing it necessarily for the same reason they were. They did it because they did not have access to this here for shims. I have access, so I could use shims if I wanted to, Evan. But I thought I'd give this idea a try because it looked like it worked really well to me. And for this, Evan, instead of using shims, I am using screws. Very easy to adjust them in and out as needed, right? Rather than, pushing the shim. Yeah, that's not particularly hard with the shims either, but this looked like, to me, was even easier yet. And again, like I said, I have access for shims. In the case of the Stud Pack video, when they were doing this, they did not have access for shims, so this was like the only way they probably could do it, because they already had their trim, I guess. Because this, I don't know if this is more like a window casing. This really isn't trim here per se. So they already had their trim on their window casing, right? So they did not have access in here for that. But yeah, we're gonna give this a try. And so I just finished setting up my laser here. Not the biggest fan of this laser. This is the Bosch. I don't remember what model number this is, but like I move a little bit. Oh, actually, it's staying pretty steady. I was walking near it here, and it's like shaking up, and like, oh man, but actually staying pretty steady right at the moment. So anyway, I got my laser shooting across right at the top of these screws, Evan. So that way I can keep the bottom of both of these window sills the same on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll put 4 screws in on that side of it, and we'll double check and make sure the level, of course, it should be, at least if the laser's right anyway. Worth noting, that one, I forget the distances and stuff, but I think at such and such a distance, this can be like plus or minus a 1/4 inch. Which, 1/4 inch, that's a fair amount, that's a fair amount. So let me grab, I'm just going to use, I think these are 1-inch screws? 1 1/4 maybe, what are these? Okay, yeah, 1 1/4. I don't even know why I had these, I can't tell you folks the last time I used these. Last time I used these, as far as I remember, is like right now. So anyway, oh, you know what? I should probably, let me go around and make sure this spray foam is cleaned off here. I'm going to do like a couple spots like this, probably should be cleaned off. Up here looks like, there's a little bit there. A little bit needs to be cleaned off. Yeah, let me get that cleaned off in a minute, and then we'll start leveling this. Okay, and we're back. The GoPro battery died again. It amazes me. I'm a GoPro battery here. Yeah, battery on my phone here lasts all day. I can record hours and hours and hours on the phone. No problem. GoPro, yeah, about 45 minutes. That's about as long as you get on the GoPro camera. Anyway, got the window frames all mounted, everyone. We don't have them nailed in yet because we need to take these out and paint them yet. But I figured, well, we got them mounted in here, but I went ahead and marked for about a 1/4 inch reveal all the way around because we're going to get our trim on here next. So I got it marked for the 1/4 inch reveal. That way I could measure around here, and we're going to head back downstairs here and cut our outside trim here for the window. Plus we need a piece for the middle here as well. That should be that should be a fun one to cut. Hopefully I've actually got a piece wide enough, and we'll see once here. I don't think I realized that was as wide as what it was. I don't remember being that wide on the other one, but apparently it is. Oh, Kevin, got our saw set up for a 45-degree cut. I just used my speed square here on the back fence here to line the saw up. So hopefully we got as close to a perfect 45-degree angle as possible. Again, at least with this saw, this is just one of the Harbor Freight specials, that one. You can set it to 45 here, but there's a little bit of slop right back and forth at the 45 degrees. Same thing for the 0 setting as well. When you put it in 0, it plays back and forth just a little bit here. And again, we want that 45-degree cut to be as perfect as possible, so we get the best 45 here. Also, when cutting this oven, so just in case I am off a little bit here, here's what I'm doing. So left hand. I am cutting this on the left hand side. Actually, no, this is actually on the right hand side now, the way I've got it set up. Okay, ignore this part. This is actually the right hand now. I flipped around what I was actually doing here. So we're cutting this one facing up on the right hand side. And then grab my other piece here. We are cutting this. This is actually left hand now. Again, I flipped the way I had this all set up here. We're cutting this right hand with it facing down, or again, technically left hand, right? So, and for our trim oven, this is the trim we will be using here. Again, we'll be cutting 45s. This will be the outside edge. This will be the inside edge to the window. So I got our measurements here. We'll mark this up and start cutting. Okay, we just finished cutting all 4 pieces here for going around, and hopefully now that I got them cut, this maybe makes a little bit more sense what I was talking about here in the beginning. So again, depending on which way I cut it, so a left hand cut on this side, and if I line them up here, we got a right hand cut on this side. So again, maybe if I'm just the slightest of degrees off here on my angle, these should still end up to be a perfect 90. And if you look at this one, yeah, doesn't get much better than that, right? Just sitting here on the truck, we're not even trying to hold them together tight here. And then I've also got them labeled as well in like the order I cut them in. So 1, 2, number 2 here with number 2 there. Same thing over here, number 3, line it up with number 3. Again, the truck isn't quite wide enough here, but if I was to push this over here, there again, hopefully you can see that one. Like we got basically almost a perfect 45 degree cut, or perfect 90 right there. Again, just matching a left hand cut here on this side with the right hand cut on that side. So anyway, I think we got this all cut, everyone. I think we should be ready to paint here. So we'll probably get these pieces painted. Once they're painted, then we can start mounting them. As much as I'd like to try these out, yeah, I think we ought to paint these here first before we go any further. Okay, we just finished the first coat of paint here. We rolled it on for this. Normally I try to spray my trim, but I figure we'll try rolling it here this time. See if it looks okay. I have one a lot easier to roll it than it is to set up the hose sprayer. And like, oh my goodness, like that's a lot of work to set up the sprayer for. Don't have a whole lot here either yet anyway. There's obviously a lot more pieces that will need to be painted here yet, but for now we just had well, the 2 big frame pieces and then the 4 trim pieces, right? So yeah, to set up the sprayer for that's a lot of work. So anyway, we'll let these dry. We'll see once if we need another coat or not. The paint we have claims to be like a 1 coat deal, and it's 1 coat supposed to be good. We'll see once. We had the same thing on the walls too. It's supposed to be 1 coat, but we put 2 on anyway, just to be safe. I want to make sure we got good coverage. But small pieces like this, we might be able to get away with 1 coat. We'll see once here. And just like that, the paint is dry. I think we're ready to install these. Now, before I painted them, I did mark them which one is which. So right hand, and the labeling goes to the top, by the way. And then also left hand goes on that side. And then we got all our exterior or surrounding trim as well. So let's get these installed, see how it looks, and see how it goes. One thing I'm going to note, is I do plan on putting a bead of caulk outside. Oh, this is the back side, I believe. I do plan on putting a little bead of caulk along the back side here, so when we stick it to the window oven, it'll stick to this frame here as well. So we got a nice seal there. And then we'll see once here too. We might have to caulk along the inside as well once we're done, but definitely gonna have the seal here as well. So, and when we put the caulk, just like a little bit of one, because we plan on pushing this tight against us at least as reasonably as we can. I don't want all that caulk just like squeezing out all over the window, right? So just a little bit of one. Okay, next up, we're going to put the trim on the actual window here. We got a couple of things here. First off, I want to make sure I spray foam this here before I put this up. Second off, I got the trim assembled on the floor here. I've got crown staples in the corners here, so that should hopefully hold it while we put it up there. Possibly maybe should have glued it too, I don't know, but there is like paint in some of these joints, so I'm not sure how well glue would have sticked. I can tell too, we got a pretty good miter on most of these here. I think the worst one is the one behind me. Well, maybe, I don't know, I guess they're both about the same. The opposite corners, so they got just the slightest of gap there. And then this one here, but unfortunately, and I think the paint will cover this, but the staple came through right there, so I cut that and ground it off. Got that pretty smooth. Like I said, I think we put some paint off that. You'll never notice that one. So anyway, first things first, we're going to spray foam this. Want to mention one other thing here as well, but we got a little issue up here with, this window frame. Actually, I think it's a jamb, right? Window jamb, I believe is the technical name for that. Is proud of the drywall here. Now, it's not in the corners, though. So I'm hoping we can get away with this. We'll find out, everyone. Corners down there are pretty good as well. If it was proud the whole way of one, then we would have to want to do something probably about it, but being in the middle there, I'm not sure. And I've been thinking about some different ways I could handle this, Evan. I could maybe take my router and trim this. The only problem is I've got this piece here. I don't have anything to trim this piece too, unless I suppose I could put something in here maybe, but I have to get that piece flush with that. No, boy, that sounds like an absolute nightmare one. So I think we're going to try to leave it like it is, and hopefully that wood will flex from this corner up. We'll see once here. Or worst case, how would you end up with a gap on top? I mean, who's going to be standing up here looking down and notice, oh, there's a gap up there? I don't think it's going to matter. We'll find out. So anyway, spray foam first, and then we'll start nailing it on. Okay, and I think you folks missed most of that here because at some point the GoPro stopped recording. I'm telling you folks, typical GoPros here. And I don't know what's up with this video too. I'm having all kinds of trouble with the GoPro on this one here. The battery pack for the GoPro does not want to charge for some reason. And then, for those you know, the batteries on GoPros last like 5 minutes by themselves. So, yeah, oh well. Anyway, got the trim on that one. That corner opened up, but it opened up. The crown staples apparently didn't hold together, so it's not that it's really that far off. It just, you can see we got a pretty consistent gap there. I should have watched that a little closer. I hung it from the top, and then, yeah, I was nailing it down. I didn't see that, unfortunately, until it was too late. So, well, that's what they make putty for, right? We can see it opened up just a little bit up there, everyone. Not too bad. I think we can fix that with a little putty. We should be good. And it's not quite... There's maybe like an 1/8 of an inch gap up behind there, so it didn't go quite flush to the wall, but... Again, I mean, who's going to stand up there and look at it? We'll probably have some curtains up there. You'll never even notice the trim anyway. At least that's kind of the way it is in our bedroom. So, as much as I'd like it to look nice, it's probably going to get hidden, and you'll never notice it. And by the way, I should mention the color here, too. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. This is obviously not white. You can probably tell the window is white. This is, I don't know, like a off-white, tannish, real light tannish color. I think it looks really good, I think it looks really good with the walls here. So anyway, we need to get a middle piece now, and then we need to start working on the doors. Well, I don't know about that door so much, but at least these doors anyway. Hopefully, oh yeah, I'm liking that a lot better. That's look at this. I installed the door like I knew I wanted that flush. I think this door is as well, if I remember correctly here. Yeah, that's looking pretty. Here it's a little off. Up in the corner though, it's perfect. Yeah, same thing on that one. So yeah, we should have a lot better time doing these doors here. Still debating if I want to do something about these doors too, because it's previous people painting. Yeah, boy, but oh well. Might just slap some new paint over it, to be honest. I think everyone, because yeah, I'm kind of done with trying to fix paint in this house, to be honest. I've spent way too much time trying to do that. So anyway. Think we'll wait for now, and we'll come back. I think we better just wrap this video up. It's probably getting a little long here already, so I think we'll have to make a part 2 on doing the trim. We got to get all the trim around the bottom done. I'll probably be making use of the laser on that one as well, so I can set myself a nice laser height the whole way around. That way maybe, hopefully the floor is not too unlevel. Yeah, who am I kidding? We might just end up setting it with the floor. We'll see once I'm in. Anyway, I think we're there. We're going to wrap it up here for today's episode of one. I think that's enough messing around for now. I'm going to have to get the putty out, do a little fixing. Kind of expected as much, I know. So again, everyone, thanks for watching. Comments or questions, be sure to leave them down below. And until next time.